Well, hey. There we go. Clear my throat. Good morning. Welcome to Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast, industry analyst. And today, from March 18th, 2025, we'll jump into the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, just some gaming talk. What is up, Ultronimus and Talos Mobius? Good to see you guys here. We should have a good time. Again, I'm clearing my throat a whole lot, all of a sudden. But, actually, what I was doing this morning as I was prepping for the show, since I've gotten to the point, Jam Kill X, now we got a party. No, but since I'm so used to prepping the show, I can multitask now. And so while I was prepping the show, I've been working on this. I don't know if it should come in pretty clear, actually. I think it has to do with my light, but it's a Batman model kit. What's interesting is it's Batman from The Flash, but the Ben Affleck one at the beginning where it had the blue. I found that to be a fascinating design. And it's cool that they have a model kit. Well, hey, Chris, good to see you too. Wow, cool. Kind of an interesting show because there's not really too much going on. So I might jump into a game. But let's start with what I've been playing. And to be honest, I think since yesterday's show, maybe I played a little bit of Rise of the Ronin. But other than that, I actually didn't play games. There was a lot that went on yesterday, actually. So if you see this, there's not too much. I think that Yohane I played during the stream yesterday, which was fun, and then Rise of the Ronin maybe a little bit after that. Let's see, cleared. Yeah, so I hadn't played much. It's so funny. I'm 18 hours in, the last of Rise of the Ronin. The last achievement I got was cleared chapter 1. That makes me think, is this game? It doesn't seem like the game is much longer. I don't want to spoil anything, but I don't know. I gotta adjust my camera later, but I won't mess with it now. Okay, so not much. I was playing. In fact, did I attempt to do something else? You know what I've been thinking of doing is, unfortunately, I can't track it, but playing my 3DS, there's this Gundam game I've been meaning to finish. I had so much fun with because I got the 3DS this time last year, or maybe a little bit before this time last year, because I was, after selling everything, all my video game, my whole collection, the one thing I realized that I missed, other than a Vita, although it's just that stuff you can replicate, and I'm talking about interesting video game things that you can't really replicate anyway else, and that's kind of the 3DS, especially when you're playing a game in 3D. And so the Gundam game is 3D, which is really cool because there's just something about it where I'm more involved with it when I'm playing it in 3D. So if you're interested and you want to get yourself the ultimate 3DS, look for one that has the IPS screens on the top and the bottom. And if you buy it from Japan, it might be called the double L. And it's the new, just to get the ultimate version because it has the nub for the analog stick and everything. All right, I was just trying to fill something because there's nothing else. I was playing yesterday. I got into a lot of Gundam stuff yesterday. So okay, we're gonna dive into some news. So this first look at Johnny Cage, Katana, and Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 2. So this actually looks pretty cool, I gotta say. I remember when they announced Carl Urban as Johnny Cage. I was like, you know what? The guy has the acting ability to pull off that guy, but he just doesn't look the part. To me, Carl Urban looks too much like a tough guy, but I think they pulled it off. It's really cool that he is Johnny Cage. I really think so. I think this elevates the movie. And then Katana, don't know this character I do, but just the eyes right there, like if that is acting right there, I like how subtle it appears. And then Shao Kahn looks awesome. Like this design looks cool. What was interesting was, and I guess we can talk about Mortal Kombat movies, is I remember seeing the first one in theaters back, was it 1995 or so? And let me look something up real quick. What was the date? Let's see. Mortal Kombat movie release date. You know what? I've been yeah, August 18th, 1995. So this is a cool memory. So it was my birthday, August 30th. And then I remember exactly, group of friends, my dad took us out, we went to the mall. They had, I forget which Mortal Kombat it was then. It might have been like Mortal Kombat 3 or one of the, Annihilation, or no, that was the second movie. Whatever. One of the, not 4 yet. They were able to play it before it was out or something like that. And then we saw the movie. And then also my friend had bought me the soundtrack from, oh, what was the name of that band off the top of my head? I can't think of it. It was that electronic album, they came out with the Mortal Kombat song, but that whole album was great. That whole album, every song was a banger. And I remember getting that for my birthday. And then they had like those G.I. Joe Mortal Kombat action figures. So they had I think they call them the O-ring style with the little rubber band in them. That was a fun time. And I loved that first movie. And the actors they chose made sense. And then we got to that Mortal Kombat Annihilation, that second movie in 97. And to be honest, I liked it. And it is just a sloppy mess. But I think it worked. Because the first one, they played Mortal Kombat straight. The second one, they just went all out. Now, the new reboot of that first movie, I found that to be super boring considering the world of Mortal Kombat. And the fact that they made up this new character for you to follow it around when Mortal Kombat's already full of characters that you could follow around for a movie. So it's cool that they have Carl Urban as Johnny Cage in this, but they still have, and I wonder if they have the name in this article, it's still going to have the main character that is the new made up person that you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys remember that first movie, they made up a character that the viewer is supposed to embody as they go on the journey, which is the dumb idea. Just get one of the main characters of Mortal Kombat and make the movie around it. So hopefully this Mortal Kombat 2 is doing that with Johnny Cage, but at the same time, he could just be supporting, and it's still that, I think his name was like Cole or something, name of the character they made up for the movie, which I don't get it. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, so side-scrolling roguelike action. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm looking at this. We've got the text, we got the image, and then everything looks good until I zero in on roguelike. And then I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Does that seem bad? Because I feel like roguelike stuff is almost a development tool. Maybe someone has a good idea for a game mechanic. And I feel like the roguelike is what you do when you don't really know what to do with the mechanic. If that makes sense, because I feel like sometimes games are being made as roguelikes, which takes away from it feeling like a full, complete adventure story package. Because then when you like have to just redo something and then you're just getting it slowly upgrading, I feel like it takes away from the experience. So I will say this has some pretty cool graphics. Not my thing too much though. So I'm glad I got to take a look at it, though. So if you guys are interested, that's Castlebound. I don't know. Oh, so Cole was supposed to be the descendant of Scorpion. Okay, interesting. But yeah, they answered that. Roguelites are insanely common now. Yeah, and I think that almost goes along with the other conversation I was having yesterday about genre, where I feel like roguelite is then kind of used sometimes to say, well, this game is this, a roguelite. And then when you play, it's like, well, this is actually a strategy game. It has roguelite elements. Or sometimes a game will say it's roguelite and you play it and it's not necessarily, that whole thing. I, you know, yeah, when you describe a game to someone, I feel like it's worth taking your time, and not using buzzwords. So, okay. Um, Next up, Double Dragon Gaiden: Rise of the Dragons. Free DLC characters Jeff and is that a Bore or a Bore? I don't know. I think these are like side characters from Double Dragon. So this game came out 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Summer of 2023, was it? This is an excellent game. I've talked about it here a lot. There are videos of me playing through this game on this channel. It was made so well. I think it was my game of the year that year, potentially. Um, so basically they just have two new characters. They added some new characters last year and they were actually fun to play. Like they actually add sort of difference in like how they play. And I think that was already a unique part of the original release was each character played very different. And yeah, I would want to play through as each one, to unlock whatever. I forget what the unlocks were exactly, but there's times where I didn't care about one character to play as, but I tried to play through as them anyway. And then there would be the characters I was playing that were just so fun to use, just because the system that works, you're chaining combos constantly, and the more that you can chain, the more rewards you get. I kind of like that. I kind of like that sort of cycle, I guess. But and here's what's interesting: it is a roguelike. Now they never really talk about that; they just say it's Double Dragon Gaiden, because how it works is you it's like when you do a run, it's to go through all of the levels pretty much, and you can only get to the last level if you've gone through the other levels. And depending on the order you go in the levels, each level has more to it. So you would play through over and over, upgrading. And when I say upgrading, it's that roguelite element where it's within each game. So it's interesting how it's not necessarily full on roguelike. It's almost like they're taking the old arcade style of a game because you'd pay, die, start over, but they just add a little more to it. Does it say when this comes out? Let's see. In April. Okay. So, and I will probably play this, and it might only be 1 or 2 days, but I will play as both characters through. Okay, this is interesting. PlayStation forms new first-party studio Dark Outlaw Games. So think about this. After they've canceled or closed down their games and studios, they open a new one. But it's going to have director Jason Blundell, or the director, studio head and director. If you're not familiar with that name, he is the dude that was with Treyarch, and he spearheaded the zombie mode. So he's got that kind of creativity, kind of behind the scenes that can help lead maybe a project to fully culminate, because we see a lot lately where you have teams put together. It's not necessarily like a figurehead, a creative figurehead. So I have no idea what to expect from this. I don't even know if they have details of what kind of game it is, but it is interesting. He left Activision in 2020 to form Deviation Games, and then I think I might even say it here. Yeah, in 2021, the studio signed a deal with PlayStation to create an original AAA IP, and then he left the company in 2022, and then by 2024 was shut down. So that's kind of interesting to see that this guy already tried something on his own and it didn't work, even with Sony. But I wonder how much this is more of he was working with Sony, they were doing things that made him just want to leave. And now Sony's like, okay, this time we'll kind of let you do your thing. I could see that. I could see in 2022, if he left in 2022, that during that time, PlayStation's like, okay, you need to change your game, make it completely live service and all that. I bet something along those lines happened. Very interesting. All right. You know what? And I'm going to go scroll down some news, but there has not been any more interesting news. Although I did hear Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, I feel like that one. The one that was released on Wii U that's coming out on Switch here shortly was leaked. It is out there. There is even someone that had the box. I've never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game, mainly because of it really being in the genre of JRPG, but I've always been fascinated, I've always followed, and I really want to try this one. What I'm more curious about, though, uh, and I'm thinking we might hear something soon, is if you run this on a Switch too, the new Xenoblade Chronicles, if it would run better than on a Switch. It could just already look fine on a Switch, but I'm real curious about that. And Talos, a new Star Wars game will be announced on the 19th of April this year. Oh, interesting. Curious what it is. There was someone I know that told me about that they're working on an unannounced Star Wars game, so it would be really cool if that's what that is. Yeah, that would be cool. Okay, Team Ninja is investigating reports that Rise of the Ronin on PC is wiping save data. I would hate that. Luckily, that hasn't happened to me. And it's funny because I autosave and I manually save every time before I shut down just to be safe. Yeah, just kind of scrolling down here. You know what? I think with the time, I might jump into another game just to get some gaming done. Oh no, okay, so this is Respawn's next Star Wars game confirmed for review. Okay, so thanks. Okay, the Star Wars strategy game from Studio Bit Reactor. Interesting. So I want to say this is something wait. It's a turn-based tactics game. Okay. Bit Reactor. Okay, I'm not too crazy about it because it's turn-based, but I'm definitely going to cover it and give it a shot. I just wanted to throw out there that I don't really care too much about turn-based tactics. It really depends. Like even recent ones I played, that Metal Slug Metal Slug Tactics, actually. Attack was a different one. I had fun with it, but then I just moved on. It had roguelite elements. In fact, I think that's what made it annoying because I could never fully complete a map. I would die, but that was the point because then you were supposed to get your upgrades. So yeah, the roguelite stuff. And then the other turn-based game, but it's a little more laid back and chill, is Godzilla Voxel Wars or Voxel. Yeah, maybe that's what it's called, which is a fun, chill, laid back game. So it really depends, I guess, how they implement the gameplay. Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles battle system is potentially an acquired taste for some. See, that is the main defining core of a game that gets me to play it or not. What is the actual combat battle system? Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Okay. So let's scroll down here real quick. Speaking of Star Wars, Knights of the Republic still in development. Oh yeah, there's been kind of signs of Starfield being released on PS5, which I'm sure a bunch of people are excited for. And, I think that's a good thing. Oh, PlayStation's partnering with People Can Fly on a mystery game franchise. Really? So this is big news to me. And was this on the 15th? Okay, I didn't even know. PlayStation's partnering. Okay, People Can Fly is building a prototype based on PlayStation IP. Outriders, Gears of War, Judgment Studio, People Can Fly. Okay, what would it be if it's a PlayStation IP and these are shooter dudes? They could be doing a Killzone, a Resistance is right in line with Gears of War, Outriders. Resistance. That would make the most sense if we're talking about, reviving an IP and the developer, but you never know. It could be something completely different that I wouldn't know. Okay, so you know what? Since there's not too much more news and I've got some time, I'm gonna play a game. Actually, you know what we should do? I'm gonna launch Undertale. I've never played it before. I don't know what to expect. We might as well see what the first 10 minutes is like. Okay, this is gonna be difficult to Okay. Yeah, you see, I don't know about that. So I can't skip anything. Let's try something. Oh, yeah. That's right. Alt-Enter. Press 2 or Enter. Interesting. So is this just a keyboard game? Oh, Autonomous. That is hilarious. Twist. It's another Horizon game. And then, oh, yes, Silent Hill F. That's a good call there. That was announced. I'm not big on Silent Hill, but I know it's pretty neat that they just had a game come out and then yet another one. That's pretty cool if this is all on keyboard. And man, I remember in the 90s, I had all the old consoles, and I feel like I don't talk about PC as much, but I played PC more than consoles in the 80s and 90s. Just because my dad had the latest stuff on PC, and he knew how to get, shareware and, I don't know if I should say this, but, like, I remember when, like, id, software first came out with their shareware thing, and it was like you had to call a number to get a code, and my dad knew how to get the codes, and we would have all the id software games. Although, I think that's fine because by now, I've rebought so many id software titles, and now it's Microsoft, so they've been getting my money anyway. Underground Arch. Yeah, so many games with this type of graphic style I played when I was a kid. Okay, so LV stands for love. Yeah, and I think, I've been spoiled of what really happens. That's cool. Have any of you played this? I see. I think I know what you're talking about. I feel like, what was I playing? Monster Hunter almost is that, where it's like you're almost like pressing a command to do an action or attack, and it's not just like a free form, like, oh, I can freely attack, dodge, jump, but it's like you have commands of actions. So I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I love it when characters are talking about where they are. Like, I'm just referring to like old PC games, and you had to visualize it in your mind because the graphics didn't allow for any graphics or that detail. And I think that was sort of a charm with older games, when you would in your mind kind of visualize what is going on. And that actually happens to me when I play video games. I know this happens a lot on here, where I skip cutscenes, I skip dialogue, and sometimes then I will create my own personality in my head for a character, depending on how I'm fighting or, little things in the world. Well, I'm so shocked that the graphics look like this. I didn't think they would like really be super old school. I thought it would just have the appearance, like modern pixel art. Is this just looking at the character and the hair, like just the pixel for the dangling hair? It's funny. Okay. There's these games like Hugo's House of Horrors or something, or Hugo, I think was his name, and it was like this, where you'd walk into different rooms, except you would then type. It was like an adventure game. You'd kind of type like, oh, that's funny. I pressed enter. Yeah, you just walk around, type like, use the Switch, for instance. Funny. Okay. Okay, so you practice talking. That's funny. So here you guys go. Here's a battle system for an RPG. You encountered the dummy. You talk to the dummy. It doesn't seem much for conversation. That's funny what they're doing here, setting this up. Oh, there's a puzzle in this room. Can I solve it? Oh, I thought it was like where I was. Oh. Compliment. Didn't understand, but was flattered anyway. Wow. Okay. Random, but that's how these games are. I remember when I would play on the SNES, I would play JRPGs, and I wouldn't see enemies in the world, but then they would just pop up and I'd fight, and I'm like, what is this? But that's just kind of been how those games work. Music's pretty good too. Yeah, I like how everything's up in the air that you're doing. Okay. Was that this? For someone that doesn't do well with games that don't have mechanics and it's just reading, this is pretty tough. Because I'm the type of gamer that like the story is the last thing I care about. And I think that's just because when I would play, there's a lot of cool games I loved in the past that never had story. Tetris. Any shmup Bring any shmup. It's just constant action. I play tons of shmups. Yeah, it was. I think that was the thing. It was. I didn't play JRPGs much, so every game I would play, just dialogue just wasn't a big thing. Okay, so I don't know what I think about that. I've been wanting to play Undertale because so many accolades, so many people talked good about it, and um it's there's so many games I want to try that's part of like the gaming zeitgeist. Like, remember that game? Remember that game? So far with Undertale, there's nothing compelling me to keep playing it. But it's supposed to be sort of a commentary on the video game world. So that's the reason why I feel like I should play it. Maybe this is a good one that I have on my ROG Ally and I just chill and play it. So if you don't care for story, you won't get an Undertale. So that could be it. And but it's interesting because what if it's one of those where it's, and this is the interesting conundrum with this. What if a game actually does have a story that if I sat through it and it's not like I don't sit through stories of games. I sit through all the story of Halo, but the cutscenes aren't like all the time. I'm getting back into the game really fast. But what if there's a game out there that is not much gameplay, but it has a good story? But then what does it matter what the story is? I guess that's another conundrum. But no, it was good to try this out with you guys. Thanks all for being here today. Hopefully some more exciting news will be coming soon. I know Assassin's Creed's around the corner. I'm excited about that, actually. Just having a ninja and a samurai that I can play as and switch between. All right, all. I'm going to head out. Have a good rest of the day. We'll talk later.